Season 4 PTR Campfire chat came out today, and it was just a big W all around. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it while I try to decipher my notes. The first thing is that everything that's going to be discussed here and changed will be available for PC Battle.net users to experience on April 2nd through April 9th. The PTR will be for a week, and for Blizzard to be able to take the information given from people testing Season 4, Season 3 will be extended for 3 more weeks, ending on May 14th. Characters in the PTR will get boosted to level 100, have 100 million gold, and 1,000 obols. A complete campaign with a mount, skill points, Paragon points, a completely discovered map, Altar of Lilith points, random gear, class quest complete, all of your Paragon glyphs unlocked and ranked up to level 21, and the legendary drop rate will be doubled. Which is good. I was assuming that we would have to start from level 1 for the PTR, but since we don't, awesome. That's less time that we have to spend grinding up to get to level 100 so that we can get to all the things that they talked about. So getting into itemization, there are some big changes coming to Diablo 4, with the best one being smaller pool of affixes, more relevant affixes, and more potent affixes. Only sacred items will drop in World Tier 3, and only ancestral items will drop in World Tier 4. As we've all experienced in the past, we've been in World Tier 4 and have had a sacred item drop which ends up just being useless. Items will now have less affixes initially. Legendary items will have 3 affixes and rare items will have 2 affixes. This is to help people sort through their items faster, and because Blizzard has implemented new methods to customize your own gear that I'll talk about in a little bit. Having 1 less affix will make rare items significantly worse overall from legendary items, but it will also just immediately tell you as a player that I can just sell, salvage, or not even pick up this rare item. It's less items that we'll have to go through in our inventory altogether. A big change to trading is that legendary and unique items are going to become tradable. As of right now, only rare items can be traded, but since they're adding legendary and unique items to the mix, it will make trading with other players so much easier and hopefully cheaper. Blizzard is also changing the required monster level for 925 item power equipment to drop. Previously, it was around tier 80 nightmare dungeons, which is about level 135 monsters, but now 925 gear will drop from level 95 and higher monsters. Huge difference. Basically, any nightmare dungeon that is tier 41 or higher will now drop 925 legendary gear. Again, big W. Gems will have a longer crafting tail, possibly similar to Diablo 3 where there are like 10 or so different qualities of gems, and the stats that the gems give are also going to be reworked or simplified. They're condensing all of the plants or monster parts so that you don't have to go to a specific region in Sanctuary to target farm that bite berry that you might need, and Forgotten Souls can now be dropped from Whispers and rarely from any elites in the world. Not specifically in Helltides, any elite can have an explosion of Forgotten Souls come out of them after being slain. Uniques are getting changes as well. I believe that currently uniques only drop from World Tier 3, but with Season 4, many will drop from World Tier 1 and 2, all of them can drop from World Tier 3, and Ubers can drop from monsters that are level 55 and higher. They will also keep their same 925 item power if they do drop. This will probably be very rare, and assumingly the best chance for an Uber will still be Duriel, and the new Uber boss that they are including, Andariel. So Andariel will have the same drop table that Duriel has, but instead of needing agony shards and eggs, you will need summoning parts that come from the Beast in the Ice and Lord Zir. One concern I have about this are the exquisite blood. Now, admittedly, I don't complete many Legion and World Boss events, so I don't have a lot of these materials, but hopefully they can reduce the number needed to summon these bosses so that it's not 9 for each of them. Since they didn't mention that in the chat, probably not. Next, they talked about the Codex of Power, and it was exactly what we were all hoping. If you have a higher rolled legendary aspect and you salvage it, your Codex of Power will now have that higher rolled aspect permanently. Again, another big W. This is something that people have been wanting for a while now, and it's just great that this is a thing. Also, every aspect in the game will now be in the Codex of Power. So no more hoarding gravitational aspects for your Ball Lightning Sorcerer, or the accelerating aspect for your Shred Druid, or just even any of the new vampiric aspects that are in the game now. They will all be in the Codex of Power. Blizzard is adding in a new crafting system called Tempering. This allows us to add 2 affixes to our gear. So Earlier, I talked about they took one affix away from our legendary gear, but they're letting us add 2 manuals to our gear. These manuals are like a small collection of affixes that will randomly add one of them to your gear when using the tempering tool at the blacksmith. Affixes can be re-rolled, but there's a certain number of re-rolls that can be used on the equipment, and they showed what these manuals look like and also a demonstration of tempering during the stream. So you can see there's 4 affixes in each of these manuals. When you use the tempering mechanic, one of these affixes will randomly be added to your current gear. So on the before and after here, you can see that the item on the right has 2 tempered affixes, which gives the item a total of 5 affixes. On the subject of affixes, we are now getting greater affixes. These are more powerful versions of affixes that add a 1.5 times multiplier on the max roll of an affix. You'll be able to tell if an item has a greater affix because there will be a Roman numeral right next to the name of the item. So for example, in the video here, there is a 2 to the right of the item name. This only happens in World Tier 4, Ancestral, Legendary, and Unique items. One thing that was mentioned is that you can't enchant into a greater affix. These items are specifically found in the World of Sanctuary, either dropped from an enemy or found in a chest. They didn't specifically say. Another new crafting system in the game is Masterworking. Masterworking will be what replaces the current upgrade system where you just go to a blacksmith and click upgrade quickly a bunch of times. This new system will allow you to upgrade your equipment 12 times. With every 4 ranks, one of those affixes will get a massive upgrade. So in the example here, we see that for the affixes from rank 2, 3, and 4 are all increasing, but specifically the maximum life affix gets a huge boost at rank 4. The same affix can be randomly upgraded multiple times, or it can be a different one each time. From the example here, intelligence was upgraded once, so it has the blue number, and the damage was upgraded twice, so it has the yellow number. One of the best parts about Masterworking is that the ranks can be reset, so you can keep trying to upgrade a specific affix on your gear. There are a bunch of class updates coming for Season 4, but I don't really want to go over them because the patch notes are still going to be coming out sometime next week. But I did want to talk about the new uniques coming, specifically the new Uber Unique Tyrael's Might. This is a chess piece that gives us all stats, plus resistance, plus maximum resistance, and damage reduction. Blizzard pointed out a couple times that with the itemization rework, damage reduction is going to be harder to find than it is currently in the game. So no more stacking 4 defensive stats on your chest and pants. But going back to the Uber, the unique aspect is going to give you what looks like an artillery shrine effect when attacking, while your character is at full life. So personally, a big W for me. Artillery shrine is my favorite shrine in the game, and just the fact that they add more of these Ubers and fun uniques, it's just going to make the game better. Every class is also getting 2 new uniques, and if it's anything like the new uniques for Season 3, then they're going to be fun and build defining. For hardcore, they are getting rid of the Elixir of Death Evasion, which I think is another big W. I haven't played hardcore in D4, but I played it as a Necro in D3, and having the final service passive just felt like cheating the experience of playing hardcore in a game. So good overall change. People want to play hardcore? Make them play hardcore. Finally, getting to the end game. Here we go. First, talking about Hell Tides. They are increasing the density of monsters and introducing this threat bar that can fill up. Once it is full, enemies start spawning around you, and a new difficult monster called a Hellborn will join the fight as well. There will also be new summoning materials that drop and can be used to fight a public event boss called the Blood Maiden, as well as new mini events to keep things fresh. Really, anything to help me get through Hell Tides is a big W for me. We are getting greater rifts back from Diablo 3, this time called the Artificer's Pit. We head to this obelisk, select the level we want to compete in, and enter the portal. And then once inside, we have 10 minutes to slay a certain amount of enemies before fighting the final boss. If you die in the pit, you don't immediately fail the event like in the Abattoir of Zir, but 30 seconds are taken from the timer. After defeating the boss, Stygian stones drop, which can be used to fight level 200 bosses who have a higher chance of dropping Uber uniques, as well as a chest full of crafting materials used for masterworking. There are 3 tiers of materials, with the higher level pits having the more rare materials. So it appears that the Artificer's Pit will need to be played to gain these materials so that you can upgrade your gear with the masterworking. There was also a Q&A at the end of the video, but really the only worthwhile things to talk about is that there will be an option to zoom out the camera. I know people have been talking about this since the game came out. Also, being able to quickly change builds is something that the developers are talking about, but nothing that is being implemented yet. So overall, I think this stream was a big W, a lot of new features being added to the game, as well as things being changed to make the game better. I'm excited to jump into this PTR and give it a go myself. Let me know what you think in the comments, and is it too early to say D4 good?